Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, it's Gemini, and hey, I want to talk about an event that happened in May of 1985, and this was the WWF's Wrestling Classic. This happened in Chicago at the historic Rosemont Horizon, aka today the Allstate Arena, aka the host of WrestleMania 13, March the 23rd, 1997. Also, WrestleMania 22. I gotta see it live. But back in the May of 1985. The arena was known as the Rosemont Horizon. It's an awesome venue. Chicago has one of the greatest wrestling crowds in America. There isn't a better wrestling city than Chicago. It's truly one of the best wrestling crowds. And on this day, the main event featured Hulk Hogan and Rowdy Piper for the WWF Heavyweight Championship. Hulk Hogan was the world's heavyweight champion at the time, and Piper was an up-and-coming superstar. And Piper, for the next 8 to 10 years after this, was just on fire. And this match, that match actually ended in a DQ. You know, they had some kind of bullshit finish, but this was coming off the heels of the WrestleMania event in March of 1985 that they had huge success with. The crowd there in May of 85 was a very different crowd. For instance, if you go to a wrestling event today, you don't see people smoking cigars in the front row. Smoking is not allowed in the building, but May in 85, everyone in the building is pretty much smoking. It's a very different atmosphere. The crowd is right on top of the ring. The ring is not loaded with decorations and all kinds of stuff. It's just a basic ring canvas. The fans are very close. Basically, the crowd psychology in 1985 is if a wrestler was doing a shitty job in the ring, they just throw a beer at him and he wouldn't get kicked out of the building. And for instance, in this event, you can see people just smoking in the front row, and it was a rough crowd. I mean, if you fucked around in May of 85 in the Rosemont Horizon, you're probably going to get your ass kicked. Not that anything's changed. I mean, a lot more security, a lot more sophistication, but back then it was just a basic, simple format. The WWF Wrestling Classic also featured a 16-man elimination tournament, and this was won by Junkyard Dog, defeating Randy Savage in the finals. Some of the highlights of the tournament was in the second round, Randy Savage pulled a real dirty move on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Or was it Tito Santana? I think it might have been Tito Santana, where he pulled some brass knucks out of his tights. I think he KO'd Steamboat in the second round. It's hard to remember, but some of the other combatants in this were Moondog Spot, Randy Savage, Junkyard Dog, the British Bulldog, the Dynamite Kid, Thomas Billington. He was also involved in this tournament, and if I'm not mistaken, he delivered one of the first superplexes that had been done in wrestling. Dynamite Kid was a innovative wrestler back in this day. It's unfortunate his body fell apart the way it did, but a very historic event, and you guys can see a lot of this is the Wrestling Classic. This May of 1985. Some of the contestants involved in this contest, 16-man tournament. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, Hall of Fame. Macho Man should be Hall of Fame. Magnificent Morocco, Hall of Fame. Cowboy Bob Orton, Hall of Fame. Corporal Kirshner. He's noted for doing his flag match with Nikolai Volkov. You got the Dynamite Kid, Thomas Billington, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, David Smith, Junkyard Dog. I mean, this is a who's who list. A lot of Hall of Famers. Iron Sheik. You know, Iron Sheik was the WWF World's Champion as well. You know, he defeated Bob Backlund in December of 1983 for that belt. You know, that famous match where Arnold Skolin had to throw in the towel to save Backlund's career. Adrian Adonis, you know, God rest his soul. Tito Santana, Polish Hammer, Ivan Putski, and Terry Funk. So, anyways, just to recap, it's an excellent wrestling event. And if you're curious to see a very, very different crowd, if you're really interested in seeing wrestling in dark and dingy just surroundings and not very pretty, but it wasn't so much about the lights and the pyro and the venues. It wasn't really so much about that. It was just pretty much just about what was happening in between the ropes. And to me, the 16-man tournament was excellent. This tape is excellent to highlight a young Rowdy Piper and Hulk Hogan just beginning Hulkamania is a plus. I definitely give this tape a thumbs up. See, mine's not in the best shape. It's actually missing this sticker. But I just want to give you a run through real quick on the Wrestling Classic, and we'll call it good on this video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.